You want a house? Link Claudia Davis, man. You want a piece of land? She are the real big woman. Miss Davis, she are the real big woman. With she, you coulda never go wrong with she. You can own house and a van through she. You can own acre land. Miss D are the real big woman. With she, you coulda never go wrong with she. You can own house and a van through she. You can own acre land. She tell me pre-smart, pre-better. Get your own damn place so you prefer it. Dear me wife if you sign up letter car. NHT them a real trendsetter. Plus me don't get a youth of a member. Me son just on table in December. And she do construction too. She will build your house for you and you get it well rendered. Davis, she are the real big woman. With she you coulda never go wrong with she. You can own house and a van through she. You can own acre land. Miss D are the real big woman. With she you coulda never go wrong with she. You can own house and a van through she. You can own acre land. She now start it and left you there. Me I tell her brother, yes, she well prepared. And if you're meeting and no farmer panga wrong, she give you lawyer, brother, clear your fear. She are the best RST agent. She help the need if you stop pay rent. They don't care about mind, them just give me strength by steel and gravel and black and cement. Now me house that I build up on the eye. Me I save some me money gone up in the sky from. Maybe Claudia, me say me nah lie bank. Have money and me pocket never giant. Me swear for me life, say me son him have to fly so. Hypocrite pagan while we die. You can't stop Claudia Davis, don't try. Every day another house gone. I Miss Davis, she are the real big woman. With she you coulda never go wrong with she. You can own house and a van through she. You can own acre land. Miss D are the real big woman. With she you coulda never go wrong with she. You can own house and a van through she. You can own acre land. Yeah man, you know. It's Claudia Davis. Big up yourself. Dance a like, subscribe, and share. Claudia Davis. Can get your house anywhere. Just be prepared without no fear.
Hi everyone, welcome to another show.
Yes, welcome. Hope you're hearing us loud and clear.
It says they are, but I guess they'll confirm in the chat. No one's in the chat as yet. You know, I was just thinking that we should start the show You know, you watch all those foreign programs,
Mhm.
and when they come on, the host is like, "Welcome to another great show at Building Wealth Live with your host Claudia Davis and Tony Dietrich." I always find it so funny that they start the shows so excited, you know, and they're like, "We're here to bring you knowledge about real estate investing from your very first house to multi-million-dollar deals. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss an exciting program."
But that's something you can do. You just did it, so what's stopping you? Why do you dream of doing it
I don't-
instead of doing it? That's not
because I
something
keep-
difficult.
Because I keep thinking it doesn't sound like me.
Well, what do you mean? So how? Okay, say it how it would sound like you.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not seeing anyone in my chat, so I'm not sure if they're hearing us or anything. My chat is just circling.
Refresh.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Refresh. Here we go. Yes.
That usually works.
Yes. Alright, so we have a few persons here in the chat. Divinity says hola.
Hola.
Torbanata says yaman.
Yeah.
Chris says hi ladies. And Kay says good afternoon ladies and listeners. Good afternoon
Good
everyone.
afternoon, everyone. Ni hao. My daughter did Mandarin. That was the first thing. And when she came home, I said, "What did you learn?" She said, "Ni hao." Actually means hello.
It's
That's-
the first and only thing you learned, Mom.
The only thing. Nothing after that. Zero. But I guess if I was born in that country, I would speak the language. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. It's I always find language so strange, especially now that Zayman and Xander they're basically learning language,
Mm-hmm.
and you will say something in English, and they understand,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll say it in Patois
Or Jamaican language.
or Jamaican language, and they understand. It's
Mhm.
like, even though it's two different things we're saying,
Or you're saying the same thing in two different languages.
yeah, but they understand it without pause.
Interpretation.
Yeah,
Mm.
I always find that so strange with younger children, but as we grow older as adults, you need the meaning and detail behind learning the language.
Behind what's said.
Yeah.
So when David came home and said, "Guana man, Guana man," I was wondering, where did he get that from? And then I realized it's while driving with his dad in traffic or wherever. And his dad kept saying, "Guana man, Guana man." But I took the time to explain it in English. What does it mean? He didn't know what it meant. So I had to tell him it means continue, go on, keep going. That's what it means. But he found it so funny. He laughed the whole time. And he actually said, "Grandma, it's so funny." Funny.
But I think most persons find our language colorful and funny.
Yeah. But some things are better said in the Jamaican language.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, boy, shoes dirty. But you say that in the Jamaican language.
Why?
It brings home the fact this shoe is not only dirty, it is dirty.
So Kay said something to us here. So Kay says, at what point of building does the plumber come in? Good afternoon, we're just born Jamaican. We have just finished backfilling the floor. No, plumber comes
Why?
in no.
But you backfill the floor. But remember, your sewage is going to go subfloor. That is below your water lines. Your 4-inch pipe or depending. So if your 4-inch is usually what we use on the ground. If it's on a deck, we use 3-inch. So your 4-inch is gonna go down. So I guess you backfill the floor, but you're gonna dig out again that area. Put in the 4-inch, but just remember that he's to sand below the pipe. Plumbers tend to ignore that step. But you're always to sand, and I mean sand now, not wash sand, but all purpose, a cheap one. Sand below the pipes, alright?
And the reason why you're doing that is so that the pipe does not get nicked from the stones and when there's earthquakes or anything like that, and it bursts.
Right. So when do you bring in the plumber? Funny enough, we bring in the plumber definitely before we backfill.
Yeah, that's because you're very particular about that 4-inch going in.
Yeah. So,
and you're very particular about them chipping out walls, etc. every minute.
I'm not into that one. I also tend to put my
Pipes on the outside.
pipes are on the outside for sure. But, so coming in, I tend to put my bathrooms on outer walls, right? I don't like inner bathrooms. I put them on the outer walls. So when you come in, you only have a small way to get to the toilet for this 4-inch. Not going all over the place. Not going through the living room, through the kitchen, through. Gosh, nightmare if you have a pipe burst. So usually I'm at the edge. And these days I tend to put my pressure pipe in the wall instead of
The floor.
the floor, because if it bursts, I want to see it. Usually I can see it in the wall, but when you put it, they tend to run it under there, and they tend to run it with electrical. So I've kind of stopped doing that too, running my electricals all across the floor. And the reason why I did that was because I had to do a termite treatment, and I wasn't there. This termite man came in and decided he was going to bore the floor. Now, he didn't tell me he was going to bore the floor, because I would have said, no, why are you boring the floor? Because the truth is, a termite can't come through the concrete. They always do that.
I know, but I guess it's something they learned
Well, that's a,
in trade school that they're to bore the floor.
the termite cannot come through the concrete or the tile.
I'm always wondering if the bore the floor concept, if it's coming from days when the house was mostly wood.
Of course.
And they just haven't updated the techniques.
They just haven't updated themselves. So, and he bored through one of our electrical conduits that were running in the floor. So I've kind of stopped doing that too. And basically, I run it same way in the wall, loop it, come back all both, right? Because remember, your electricals are already running in your wall, you know, your socket come down, you turn it on, and the plug is partway in the wall anyway. So I tend to run it in the wall or run them in a hidden panel, right? Same thing with the plumbing when I'm going upstairs. Put it in a hidden panel, so it's easy if there's a burst leak, anything, you can't fix it. But so again, it depends. If you're like me and you run it on the outside, all the bathrooms are on the outside, and backfilling is no, not so detrimental, because you're not going to dig up the whole floor again to run those things, right? I remember they must only backfill to a point, because if it's a regular electrician you're using, who used to put in pipes in the floor, they will come scratch out back your floor. But you have to remember that you backfill and you compress and compact. And if you're, so here's the thing now. So if you're backfill with marl, guys, you only must go no more than 4 to 6 inches each time. And then you get your jumping jack and do this.
That's the compression.
Compaction. Take your jumping jack and do this. Do not let them full up the marl 1 foot 2 foot, 3 foot, dump it in a room, your floor will forever be sinking.
Oh no.
Yeah, it will be forever sinking. Sometimes depending on terrain, so sometimes you're building on some land was off anyway. No matter what water they reach it and that. Sometimes what I do is I create well, it's not a beam, but it's a cage over the whole floor with the beam. Same way.
You mean like 4 beams?
The beam, the ground beam, plot it out same way with the steel, and cast it.
Oh, that's
That
a bit
way-
more money, but I get
Yeah,
it.
it's a bit more money, but that way you're not on the live ground like that.
Okay.
I remember, even though them compact and them carry on with themselves with the machine. I have a good man who does that. He just loves operating that machine. He man Rambo. Goes up to I want to see them with it, they must love it. I don't know, the vibration, whatever. It make only nice, so I always take on myself. But them good at it, they know how to do it, right? So them wet it up and go back again and they go through quite well. But some persons don't want to buy shingle to compact your floor, but you should use a shingle and not marl.
Why? Because the shingle has some stones in it.
Yes, it's a heavier material, full of stone and all of that, so that's what you must use. Some people, the dirt with them dig out are the same dirt they
And
use
put back in,
on the floor,
trying to save.
trying to save money and You really shouldn't do that when it comes to the floor. You can use the same dirt out there you dig out outside and backfill on the outside. But again, what I do before I backfill that outside is one, I steel float all of the foundation and go right round. So if your foundation was 3 feet down in the ground, or sometimes we have to go 4 feet in the ground because we're trying to get to bedrock, right? I steel float all around it, meaning no water not supposed to can penetrate that foundation. What happens is that some persons leave the blocks down there so raw. So rainfall, you have a pooling, you have whip of water, it come under your floor, right? Instead of just a bounce off of your floor and go somewhere, bounce off of your foundation.
Okay, since she backfilled materials, dirt and fine stones.
Fine stones, you must always use shingle, tough stuff. So I still float the whole outside of the foundation because I don't want the water to get in. And then I do something extra too. I create the same river shingle. I go through now and I create a whole bed of regular shingle right around the perimeter. Same 3 feet depth going down.
Oh, why you do
It
that?
acts as a soakaway.
Oh, okay.
Acts as a soakaway. So I do that, especially if it's a retaining wall, you're gonna backfill against it. You must have that soakaway or French drain, as they would say, below that to take away the water. Because water is the most damaging thing in building. People think it's fire, but it's actually water. Fire is an instant thing, but the water is a slow burner. It will be there killing you softly. You just don't see it. But it is a slow burner. So I'm trying to avoid some things from in the foundation. And the foundation, guys, is where you must actually spend the money. And where you must pay attention to make sure that your steel not on the ground. Because if your steel on the ground, it will rot. One rotten steel cause this part of the building to drop on before you know it, you're having cracks all over.
Right.
As the kind of foundation was not set properly, right? So you have to spend the money in the foundation, pay attention, make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. And then another thing I literally saw a building fall down like this now. They framed up the column, framed up the deck, and tried to cast everything one time.
What?
Just came tumbling down.
Oh no.
You have to cast up your column then.
Yeah, that has to be strong enough to hold
Hold
the deck.
the deck. Yeah. I don't know whose idea was that one, but they lost everything right there.
I'm trying to see why they couldn't work though.
Well, make sure if you're backfilling with dirt and stone, go get your jumping jack. Hire jumping jack. There's another one called a jumping jack named Rama. There's another one that we use. It has a smooth plate. I forget what it's called. Bottom of it is smooth. Jumping jack is more boom, 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 boom. But I like the jumping jack because it is taking out all of the ear pockets and everything. And you'll be surprised when you use a jumping jack. So you thought you were at the level, and then you're going to use a jumping jack, carry it down all 4 or 5 inch. So it show you how much stuff, how much ear was under there. Because remember, guys, so when you dig out the foundation, you dig out the dirt. Have you ever wondered why this thing looks so much? When you dig out the dirt and put it on the side.
Because it was like compressed or something.
Yeah, it was compressed, but now you dig it up here.
True.
So, right, so the same thing now, you have to put back the dirt then. Or buy dirt or wherever. Dirt above ground always have ear and stuff, right? But you want it compact properly. The compaction is what you need, Kate. Ensure that they do that properly, and then you must only do it up to a level, because remember your electrician is going to work. You don't want your electrical pipes too far up to the top of the floor level, because now you still have to go back and compact, you know, after that. And then if it's too near, you have problems again with your...
Which is why you don't put them in the floor anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't put anything in my floors. My floors are clean. You can walk on my floors. I know not now I shock you or wet you.
Other than the 4 inch, which is further down.
Which is further down. I usually it's not crossing the floor because my bathroom, kitchen, everything is on the outskirts.
Okay.
I want to be able to get to it real fast, quick and fast. Or if I have to dig out nothing, I dig out the external wall and not an internal wall.
So Norma just joined us and Dancehall Entertainment. Good afternoon, guys.
Afternoon, guys. Afternoon. Afternoon. So we have some new water jugs courtesy of Horace. Thank you, Horace. These ones have straw. Well, the others came with straw too.
Yeah.
Dancehall Entertainment gave us one with straw as well. This one's a little bigger.
This one's more for outdoors.
Outdoors, but this one has a handle, which is so cute.
I just realized so that we can detach the handles if you don't want to use them.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, you can, okay. I didn't realize that.
I just realized the other day.
I did like the handle.
Because I wanted to wash it and I was like, I didn't want to get the handles wet.
Oh. Pretty nice.
Kay saying, yes, I intend to rent that from Tool Hardware. I was told to allow rainfall and natural settling first.
Really? Just put your hose in it.
Yeah, but hose might cost money. Yeah, that's why I said rainfall.
Yeah, but put your hose in it. Start compact before rainfall. Compact it now. Get all the air out of it.
Why?
I mean, it has natural air in it anyway. So
yeah, no,
compact it
what's
now.
the reason to compact it before the rainfall?
So you compact because you're at this level and you're waiting on rainfall. Rainfall going to bring it down a little, yes, because it's going to shrink, as I would have said.
Right.
But if you compact it to this level, then the rainfall will go to the next level, take it to the next level.
Okay.
Which is probably where you want it.
Okay, I get you.
You understand? But the water commission bill is not going to be that high. What you do is you put a sprinkler at the end of the hose, put the hose in one room and turn on a sprinkler. Or if you have time, you stand up with your spray jet and you go through. But use your water commission. Same thing when you reach a deck, get a sprinkler at the edge of the hose, go up there, put it one place, then maybe an hour, you go back up there again, put another place, and so on. That's what I do personally. That's usually my job, climb the ladder, get to the deck and do that, because I know that if my deck is not wet for the 10 days, I am in problems. Down the line when the deck start leak. And it don't matter what floor you're at, do the same thing for every floor. Do the same thing for every floor. You may say, you know, I'm gonna go upstairs, I'm gonna go up on top of that, so it no matter, don't do that. Make sure your deck cure properly.
Why? So I fall through it?
Tony, you may never reach up to the next level.
Oh, so you mean money might limited?
You might lose the money or for whatever reason you have to stop, right?
So just do it right.
Just do it right, as if that's your final deck. Water must be on it. 10 days minimum. It's good if you pour your concrete when it's raining. Very good. Good if it rains about 5-10 days. You don't have to do nothing. But you have to flood your deck for the first 10 days, alright? Don't worry about NWC. NWC liquor money is gonna be way less than if you have a deck problem. Also, don't let them pull down your props before 21 days, 3 weeks minimum. Has to stay up there and cure. Remember, this is concrete. Concrete. Don't play with concrete. Suspended concrete. Concrete above your head like that. Do not play with it. Right? You want it good and solid.
Right.
I mean, on the ground you can't play with it. You cast floor and leave it when I really wet it up, but you should too when you cast the floor. You should. Because remember, see, I try to cure the concrete.
Right.
But pay attention in the foundation. Make them steel floor around the foundation, and you should not backfill your outside before you do that steel floating around. If you did already, I don't know. But, and the mason should I tell you too, because I mean, I'm more money for you, but it will protect you.
Well, as long as he knows.
So on them just.
And I find that there are no new masons.
No. Seriously, there are no new masons in Jamaica. I'm like, for the past 20 years, I've not seen a new young man
Saying
who's saying he is a mason.
Yeah.
That skill is gone.
I'm wondering though, with the way the technology is, can we do without masons in a while? Because we're just not gonna have anyone to do the work.
We're gonna get to that where we do without them, because for one thing, they tend to be doing box and cast now. You need less mason work. When them take down that framework, is more plastering, right?
Right.
Also, I've seen machines now that actually does that. The Chinese have machines now that must load the stuff in it and it plaster it up on the wall, come back down, it good. Then go to the next wall, move it up and it good. So the mason technique that we tend to teach at Hartland, so come take it up, flash. I learned it at Hart. Never like it one bit. It's a only wrist movement. Horrible on your hand, which is why I figured there are no new masons.
And you're in the sun doing it too.
Oh, you're in
It's
the
not
sun
like
doing
you're
it?
inside doing electrical work. Or
I've seen new electricians and new plumbers, but mason work, I don't know. And they're trying to explore different ways for us to do buildings. And guess what too? We talk about the machines that do that, but also remember there's siding. You can put siding on the wall and don't need to do any of that.
Norma says, I saw that machine and thought it was AI.
No. It's a real thing.
That's
It's
funny.
a real thing.
That's funny.
But we can use siding. I know that a lot of new buildings are using siding now. So it looks like it finished, kind of facade.
So the siding protected from rain and everything?
Yeah,
Waterproof?
leaking.
Okay.
Want it installed properly. Alright everybody, so we're at the welcome still. Do we have an advertisement?
Yes, we do.
Alright, so
Alright, so we'll take a small break and then we'll be right back.
Are you ready, Zayvon? Welcome, 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 everybody. Thank you so much for opening the video today. I'm Claudia, and I'm at Draxall. Yes, I'm at Draxall on the North Coast, one of my favorite places. Ladies and gentlemen, today I bring to you Bone Ridge Estate. New housing development, 2 beds, 2 baths. Also have some 3-bedroom options and some 4-bedroom options. So Zayvon is my wingman today. He's actually the cameraman today, learning all the ropes. But Zayvon, you gotta be quiet now. All right? Just look in the camera. You can't say grandma? Okay, great.
But it's getting dead.
Getting dull?
No, it's getting dead.
Dead?
Yes.
As in, you have no batteries? All right.
Uh-oh, that's with Grandma.
Xander, come and stand behind Auntie.
And don't stay over there with Grandma.
Yeah, and don't say anything, okay?
Grandma is ready?
I'm ready.
Say Grandma, action.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you missed Hills of Draxall Phase 1, you also missed Hills of Draxall Phase 2. Did you miss Fairway Estates? Did you also miss Polar Villas? Why? Do not miss this one. Roan Ridge Estates. Remember, 2 beds, 2 baths. Go into the description, click. You can make your application right away because you know we're all about digital systems now. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to come and view Roan Ridge Estates? You're going to give me a call. Come and I'll show you where the location is, but it's really easy to find. The main entrance is coming up on Napa Heights Road. However, you can also drive through the hills of Draxall. Ladies and gentlemen, get into the description. Click, click, click. Look for me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, you name it. And remember, be great to yourself. Buy real estate.
Still recording.
All right, Xander, come over here so you can get some footage. Say hi to everybody.
Hi,
No. Say good afternoon, everybody. But you're going to look up and you're going to wave. Aren't you? So it is summer.
I said that this is the first time actually seeing it. Though. Why doesn't Xander's even have their own t-shirts though?
To get them their own t-shirts. Put them on the work too.
Yeah, don't put them on payroll though.
So Kay was saying that no, outside is not yet done. Is it okay to concrete the floor after compacting?
Yeah, you're gonna concrete it, but you have to put in your electrical and plumbing first underneath the floor. I remember to use BRC mesh, especially because if it's a wide area, use a BRC mesh in it. So when they put on the BRC mesh too, it must rest on the floor, it must be same 2-inch clearance, and then the concrete goes on it. So BRC mesh is a reinforcement, it's a steel fabric. So just like you use your 1/2 inch and your 3/8. So sometimes depending on how wide the floor is, I will use a 3/8 steel and plait it, either 10 or 12 inches.
Oh, something small like a bathroom, you might use a BRC?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just depends how big the floor is.
And now we have these homes, these own concepts from living room to kitchen.
Big.
Makes sense to use the bigger.
Yes, to use a 3/8 steel. But that's just me, personally. And you must do the maths on it too, because I think last time I did the maths, that's why I used the 3/8. It was cheaper. BRC is pretty pricey, especially if you're not getting it at a good price from start.
Okay, Melissa had a question. Hi, Miss Davis. Do you know, hi, Miss Davis, do you do partnership with small developers similar to NHD joint venture scheme?
Let's see if we cancel the screen. Hi, Ms. Davis. Do you do partnership with small developers similar to the NHD joint venture scheme? It depends. It depends how you want us to come in, as a consultant, as an equity partner, as a capital investor. It depends. We can come in as a salespeople too, as well.
But he says, she
venture.
says, that what is the NHT joint venture scheme?
Well, the NHG joint venture is where they would give you some capital and you give them back some to sell, but at a price that they want.
Oh.
So sometimes you won't make them any money off it like that because they're saying, sell this house for 12 million and you're billing it for 10 million. If you sell for 12 million, I make the money.
Right.
But what happens is they want to sell it to their contributors, which is why they wanted to come in at a certain price.
Makes sense.
So a lot of developers don't really use any share in their joint venture. They try to avoid it if they can. But some will go for it because they need the seed money initially, and then maybe in phase 2 they will make up out of the funds.
Right. Or they just have a good partnership with NHT, like the bigger developers.
Still joint venture, it's still the same concept. Where they give them the bigger developers may have 1,000 units, which is where it may suit them. So they say, NHT, okay, we give you 200, we use your capital, we start off, yes, we can give you 200 up for that price, but they have 800 more to sell.
Right.
But with a small developer, chances are you don't have that many to can say give NHT all this money, right? But what you have to do is meet with me, let me see what your project is. What is it? Is it land development, house development, and so on? And how far are you in it? Is it that you just have the land that you're thinking of doing it? Or do you actually have your subdivision approvals already? So we would need to know where you are in it. But funny you should ask me that question. So I'm dealing with live today. We're looking at different ways that you can invest as a team to get real estate. So Tony, bring up an article. You have it up already?
Wow, Melissa said something fine. She said, I'm not sure this is the right program, but my goal is to purchase raw land and subdivide it and sell it.
Oh, so you haven't started anything yet. You just want to buy the land and subdivide it and sell it. So, but first you have to go find the land. You have to know how much capital you have to invest. Find the land and do that. What I usually recommend to new people like yourself is go small first. So just find a 1 acre land that you can do that with, or a 2 acre.
Because it's the same lessons.
It's the same thing you're gonna learn, and go through the process. This is not something that they teach you in school, or you can go to a class and actually learn it. This is something that, just like tying your shoelace, you have to learn on the job, right? Me saying to you, twist it that way, put it in that way, it's not gonna work. I tried that with Xavier the other day, it just never worked.
Isn't the other young though to learn to tie shoelace? Because you have to have hand
and dexterity.
Yeah.
But he was actually trying to tie a knot, not his shoelace, because we don't buy shoes with lace. But I realized that, ouch, no, this is not something you just give the instructions. You have to get into it. So this is one of those things. You're gonna have to learn it by doing. Right?
Says, yes, I'm in research stage and in dialogue with a seller.
Right. So get in there. The thing with subdivision of lands, basically the land in Jamaica can subdivide. Make sure it have the utilities that people buy will need, like water and electricity. Those are close by, or they're not on the property, you can bring it in easily. Okay. You want to also go check for the zoning, so that those people you check for that is NEPA. Check the zoning, or you can go online and type in development order. Check the zoning is what you buy residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, all of that. Keep your project small in the first part, of 1, 2, 3 acres. Because you're gonna need to have money to pay the government, pay the professionals like an engineering survey.
And that depends on the lot size, right?
Yeah, the land size.
Land size.
Yeah.
And how much it's being divided into, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a proposed price from a survey and all my decks. That's actually 6 million. So that's how is that kind of big money you're gonna spend. Which is why I want to keep the first project small and make sure you have some cash. You also must buy the land cash. You can't talk when you have the land with loan and you want to do subdivision. You will get your approvals, but when it gets to you borrow money from the bank, that is where you're gonna have a challenge because the bank don't want no second mortgage.
Jovan says, will local banks finance a lot for subdivision?
If there is no one lot for subdivision, I mean one lot. I mean you have a half acre you want to put in two, no bank not financing that. But if you have 10 acres and you want to subdivide it into 50 lots, yes, the bank will look at that. But the bank will only take a title that don't have nobody name on it or proof for them name. They only want their lien on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where challenge. Tony don't seem to be in frame.
No, I'm in frame.
You're in frame?
Yeah, just the chat is open.
Oh, it's blocking you. You're aiming for 3 acres? Yeah. So do the research. You don't want to be way up in no hilltop. You want to be where services are and where people will actually live, right?
Yes, that's what I found out, that I have to buy cash and can't use the NHD loan. The NHD loan is solely for your personal house lot. Divinity is asking, ladies, do you invest at Bank Investment House? Do you have any land in Lindsay or Bogwalk? I think I know the answer already, but what would you do with over 20,000 US right now for some good returns?
20,000 US is how much? 3 million? What would I do with $3 million? I don't know about good returns. Also deposit, if you want to do it alone. So you can do it alone or you can do it with a group. So you can either take your 3 million and try to deposit on something, and then take a loan, pay a mortgage and so on. Or you can group your 3 million with other persons and do that. So let's say you find an investment property with some rental on it. You can group your 3 million with 2, 3, 4 other people. And you have the return on the rental, you have gone in cash. Figure out who will manage it and who will whatever. But 3 million in of itself, for real estate, you only have 2 options. One is to use it as a deposit to invest. We have 3 million houses on land still.
No. I was looking for land the other day, and the cheapest came up, and this was St. Catherine, was 6 million. St. Catherine and Clarendon, and the cheapest was 6 million.
Okay. I don't know about good return on 20,000 US. That's not a lot of money in Jamaica. When I have 20,000 US, I don't deposit for myself. Seriously, that's what I do. I go look for one property and I deposit for it and I take one loan from the bank.
And for the rest,
I pay money little. I rent it out if I want to. Or sometimes I wait on the market to appreciate the inflation to carry me and then I just sell it back. So it's 2 ways, as I said. I either find a property for the deposit, myself and my kids or whatever. Or I take my 3 million and group with people. That's 2 ways. And I do both.
is the Where the Subdivision book?
Yeah, I was supposed to write it down.
You got what, like halfway through it?
I still have a skeleton.
And to put it on pause. What happened is, during writing the book, She discovered AI and website build design, and that's what has taken over her time.
Oh, no, I haven't told people that.
But I think what happened to you is that the book takes longer, and
Yes.
creating the website, it's like instant gratification, right? So I think that's what's holding you back.
Instant gratification.
And you can go live within minutes.
Seconds. Seconds. Alright, so let's look at, we have been discussing what we're going to be talking
Are you ready, Safer?
actually. So an article came out in the Gleaner, July 29, not so long ago. Tony, you want to go ahead and read? I feel like my throat going to start hurting, I don't know why.
Derrimon to sell Draxall lands to REIT managed by different capital.
And by the way, this property that they're talking about is walking distance to the advertisement you saw Tony with for Roan Estate. It's actually on the same stretch of land, same stretch of road, sorry.
Derrimon Trading plans to sell a 12.36 acre parcel of land in Draxall, St. Anne to an entity managed by different capital at roughly 40% below its independently appraised market value, in a move that should shore up cash flow for the supermarket operator. Documents obtained by the Financial Gleaner show that the parcel is owned by Arosa.
Arosa Limited, a subsidiary of Derrimon Trading. The land was independently valued by VB Williams Realty Company Limited at $7.8 million US, or roughly 1.25 billion, with a for sale value of 6.24 million. Different Capital, co-founder of investment banker Christopher Williams and businessman Gary Matalan, intends to raise $1 billion through a private placement of funds from high net worth individuals. From the raise, the investors in the REIT will acquire the property for some $74 million. It forms part of plans to prepare the lands for a 70-unit residential development. The company formed last year, which is Different. So Different was formed last year. Writes its name as a lowercase d and describes itself as a commercial realtor and REIT manager. We are the manager of the property, said Williams in an interview. The REIT will own the property. We expect about 200 shareholders to participate in the offering. Williams spoke generally about the project, but declined to provide financial details of the share issue, due to the matter being before the Financial Services Commission. Contacted for comment, Derrimon Trading Chairman Derek Cottrell said the company chose this route to maximize the value of the Draxall property. Different has been engaged as a REIT managers. They will execute the development on behalf of the REIT shareholders, Cottrell told the Gleaner. Cottrell did not immediately respond to queries about the price it paid for the land or the rationale for selling it below market value. Last month, Derrimon indicated that it would abandon its US $2.5 million plan to upgrade the manufacturing operations of subsidiary Arosa, aiming to conserve cash as it works to reduce its debt, which currently exceeds its capital. Up to March, it operated at $2.3 billion working capital deficit. The private placement comprises up to 1 billion common shares priced at $1 each and is being conducted by exempt distribution rather than a public offer. The memorandum states that the investment is available only to accredited investors under the FSC's exempt distribution framework. Promoters are targeting an internal rate of return of 16.8% over an investment horizon of up to 3 years. Financial projections contained in the memorandum estimate revenue of $1.6 billion from the sale of subdivided lots, generating projected profit $657 million. So they tell you the revenue 1.6, so you can kind of know how much each lot is going to be sold for. You can do the division and know. Unlike traditional income producing REITs, the Draxall vehicle would initially focus on development rather than rental income. Investors are not expected to receive regular dividends, and returns are intended to be general through phase lot sales, bulk disposal, or a possible future listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. If no listing is achieved, the structure provides for a long stop hold period of 36 months, after which the vehicle will be wound up and net proceeds distributed to shareholders. The development envisions transforming the property into a branded community centered on bungalow-style homes. VM Wealth Management has been appointed a range of broker, registrar, and transfer agent for the offer. Now, what is a REIT? Who knows what is a REIT? Put it in the chat.
And consult NHD to come on board with their guaranteed purchase program.
That's easier said than done, Melissa. That's why most persons don't do it. NHDs are creature unto themselves, quite frankly. Oh my gosh.
But I mean, if they go unacquired and they subdivide it, they can sell it.
The first thing is to acquire the property. You guys are trying to jump over the steps too far. Anything in life that you're doing, you do step 1 first. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. If you don't have the property, you can't talk about NHT partnership, bank loan, this, that.
Yeah, so just focus on getting the
You
property.
only should focus on getting the property. So Javon, if that is your intention, focus on getting the property. Now, money should not be why you don't get this property. Money's all around you, quite frankly. The challenge is in trying to do it on your own. So you don't have any money, put it that way. But maybe you have people around you who have money. Nothing is wrong with saying to them, listen, I found this 2.5 acres. It is $10 million. I only have 500,000. This is how I would structure the deal. I can get this amount of lots for sale. You must structure the deal. You can't be just talking off the top of your head. Alright? Also, a lot of you seem to think you alone must have the money. You don't. You also seem to think that you must be in the deal cash-wise. You don't. Sometimes you should go into the deal just to learn. You don't have any money. But if you're in Jamaica, you find the land, you know this camp, that. Go in it to learn. You can also ask for a management fee. So hey, I found the land. This is what's gonna happen. This is how much a surveyor costs. This is how much we can cut it up into. This is the engineer. This is, let us say, bring Ms. Davis as a consultant. This is Ms. Davis' consultant fee. You don't need to be in the deal with cash, do you? What about your brain and the skills and your ability to stick to it and get it done? Sometimes you have to learn, not sometimes, at all times. You have to learn before you earn. That's why I was sending you to school. You have to learn before you earn. Right? Real estate investing. Subdivision is just one of the vehicles of real estate investing. And you really have to, this is one of them that you have to get in the trenches and to learn. There's no school, there's no book, none of that. So you have to get in the trenches and learn it. Alright?
Dancehall Entertainment says the REIT is a form of stock.
Alright, let's see what it is. What is a REIT? it allows a lot of persons to pool their money together. So instead of me alone buying $100 million commercial building by myself, a company could own that building and then thousands or hundreds of investors could own shares in the company. So the company may own apartment buildings, offices, shopping centers, warehouses, hotels, and so on. That company now collects the income from all of those properties, pays all operating expenses, everybody who have to work and do this, that, pay everything. Financing costs if they had borrowed money. Manages asset, and then may distribute part of the earnings to shareholders. So a REIT investor therefore owns shares in the investment vehicle as who said it? Dancehall Entertainment?
Yes.
As Dancehall Entertainment says, she called it stocks, but shares. So you own shares in the vehicle, you don't own individual, this building, that land, and so on. Right? You don't have any title to anything. So that article that I just read, they're proposing that they find 200 such persons who would give their money and buy shares. And then they would now go ahead and purchase that property. And they would now develop it and sell the bungalows. And then after all of that, now they would pay out dividends once there's a profit. Right? Yes, Melissa, you're jumping the gun. Don't jump the gun. Every day and every night you wake up, think about how you're going to buy the land. That's the first thing. Forget about everything else. So when we did that with other investment, with other people, I should say, our friends, family too, you find the opportunity first. So both of you have found land. Javon found the land already too. And Melissa found the land already too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your headspace should be now, how am I going to acquire this land? What are the options open to me? Once you have that, then you structure the deal. The thing is, if it's you alone, you know, so sometimes it's me alone. I just go buy the land. I don't think about nothing else. I just go buy the land. It's me alone, and my money alone I go burn. If something happens, I can't do the subdivision, and my money alone. But if you bring in other people, you have to know, tell them some things. What are the possibilities with this land? Don't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to make money? That's a big question there, yeah?
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get into it for today now. To jump into your what it is that we're supposed to be doing,
Okay.
which actually covers all of this. Come I don't know, I'm never tell them, you know.
They do know because the title is there, Mom.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
And I think Javon has been saying this. Saying mortgage and real estate investing out now.
Yes, it has.
And subdivision. Also, if you want to be the lead in the subdivision, you can't live a foreign here, Javon, you have to be here. You have to go physically look at the land, find the surveyor, the engineer, the architect, everybody. You have to physically walk up and down behind some government agencies. It's just a whole process, which is why is a on-the-job training.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go to, so I have the Portland Development Order, because you know we're in Portland. I have the St. Anne Development Order as well, because we're also in St. Anne. Go and I bought the physical book because I like that. I like to have my book. So I bought the physical book from NEPA, but you can go online and just type in Development Order, Portland, Development Order, St. Anne. So whichever parish you have found the land in already, you are to go and look at that development order and see if the area that you are trying to do your subdivision in is part of the development order. So we know where we are, Discovery Bay, Norwich, Runaway Bay, all those places are part of development orders, right? Once they're anywhere near the main or any, we looked at Montego Bay as well. A property that we're trying to get to is part of the development order as well. Actually zoned, it was zoned residential, but that one put a pause on because NWC said they couldn't supply the water. So again, you have to check these things before you jump right in. Your due diligence before, so you say you see the land, fine, good. Do your due diligence now because you know going for God, you don't have no money, put it that way on a broke people, but in a full of ambition. That's good, that's all you want. You just want the ambition to do it. And it will happen. Go and find some people. The first one I did was 1 acre in Newport. I saw the land, it was a beautiful piece of land. Do you remember the land there? 1 acre in Newport. This girl. Yeah, we'll go by a lot of coal though. But it was $4 million. I saw it. I said, 1 acre, this girl subdivided in a 4 man. Yeah, man, love it. But I only had $1 million.
How much was it?
4 million. I remember talking to 2 persons, and you know what they said to me? You want Claudia, but me want buy all that. So you're gonna get that too. When you start discussing, you're gonna get some people say, yeah man, nice, but me want buy all of them because they have their money. But I decided at the time, I said, no man, I don't like send me that up. So I said, well, it's gonna cut it 4, so you can buy 3/4 of it, and I put in my million. The person said, no, they want to buy the whole thing. I'm saying, no. So you know, I'm going to talk to that person there again. I went and found my other friends, and they did come in. You know the funny part about that? They trusted me to the point that they did not even look at the land. I remember. To this day, I've actually sold back their lots, and they still have not looked at the land.
Yeah.
Right? And they said, Claudia, yeah man, no problem, when you want the money, whatever. And I went through, bought the land, went through the whole process of finding the surveyor, tell him I want to cut up everything, follow every government agency. Remember me, I drive, gonna come on the parish council, where reach, I'm going on.
Because they barely answer phone.
They're not answer phone, you have to go drive.
You have to go sit for them.
So it was a learning process. Subdivided it, and then the next learning curve was when it reached titles. You remember the one there?
Yeah, did that twice.
That up to this day, I'm like, these people are something else, you know. You go to them for help, and they say, no, I need a lawyer. I'm like, no, I don't need a lawyer. The forms are here. I'm a bright girl who must can fill out this and get it.
It's a government form.
Tony, if you fill out this 100 times an exam, we are doing a friend. So you fill it out 100 times and then put X on it. Go back to study, do it again. That's all you got to do. You have to go back to study, read the documentation. Is there a book on this? What can I read? Who can I talk to? That's how you do it. And then eventually now, a breakthrough comes and say, oh, but I saw this, you don't fill out. And you fill it out. I remember when I went to stamp office too. And couldn't figure it out. Because you have to get it stamped and all of that. Luckily for me, a young lady that I knew when I was in the army, she was actually right there at the front desk. And she was the one who told me what to do and how to fill it out. I got past that stage and then I went to titles office and then jerked around, but I got it done.
But the thing is, the stamp office form is very simple. Once you figure it out, it's very simple.
And then the titles office one can be a little tricky. Once you figure it out, you're good.
Yeah, because I think it's like 4 pages, so it's a little tricky.
Once you figure it out, you're good. And then you had to know how to transfer, because you subdivided this parcel, you already have approvals now before you reach titles office. And you have to know what percentage now to give this person, that person, like transfer. So each of them get their own title. So I got all 4 titles Actually, I was the one who had all the titles in my drawer and everything. And I was like, I'm going to be first ball out to mega sell. I said, I'm ready for sell now when I mega sell. And them said, alright. And them said, alright, Claudia, sell my one too. That was it. Them don't even know what the title look like. Because when I'm ready for sell, I took the title to the lawyer. I said, this was it. And them go sign the paperwork. Them don't know the buyer. Them don't know nothing.
They don't know the land.
Them don't know the land. But they, when you're working with people, there's a level of trust that they must have in you. They must have confidence that you will do what it is that you say you're going to do, right?
And you have to do more than what is required.
You have to do more than what is required, yes. And you cannot complain that is you alone have to run the mandeville and you alone a call every minute. No, just do the work. As a matter of fact, it was men who I invested with. They never one day call me. Claudia, where you reach? Claudia, where you reach? They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. The women do that a lot. But the men don't. The men just give the money, do that, Claudia.
They want the start and they want the end. They don't care about the
They don't
details
care about the
between.
middle.
Yeah.
No, men are just like that. So if you have good male friends, even partners, I've done that even with my own partners. They don't care about the running and the middle, as Tony says. They want the start. So how much you need? What you going to do with it? All right. I'll have the money by next week. Boom, it come. They're not asking no more question.
Even if you ask for more money, they just give it and there's like, okay.
They're like, you remember that happening to me, you know? But by the time he was gonna question more money, it's like I don't know what it is with men, but it's like men tend to trust their partners, which is why if you're a partner, you are not to be deceitful.
You need to be a good partner.
You need to be a good partner, because seriously, men really put their trust, whereas we women are skeptical about these men, we're not putting our full 100 in them, they put their full 100 in us.
Yeah.
They put their full all and all, they trust us. You can put down the document in front of them, not reading it. They're gonna sign it. Them not reading it, them not questioning it, what you put in front of them, they're just gonna do it. As Tony says, I want the beginning and I want the end. So even when 5 years later me ball out say, you know some other sell this, we're ready for sell this now, you know. I'm not questioning it again.
No.
I'm just not question it. And then I'm gonna say, alright, me a bank account, me get the lawyer. Them still not question it. Not even the closing cards I'm gonna look for to see how much you all get. Toby. I'm amazed with that with men though. I like investing with men. Because men don't have the fear factor, the trust factor, none of that. It is women who are skittish.
I think with men, once they are working, earning, they feel free to spend their money.
Yes.
It's only when they're backed against a wall with no income that the fear
comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, the men are great. So if you have men in your lives, uncle, brother, father, partners, cousin, friends, you name it. Don't be afraid to say to them, this is what it is, this is a deal. But you must do your due diligence first. Right? Do your due diligence first. So if you want to move fast, go alone, yes. You hear me say that enough time, don't it? If you want to move fast, go alone. If you want to go further, get a team, yes. You know, further, higher, deeper, everything.
Currency says we have to work together, we have to execute that. No, yes.
Right. And you can't wait till you have money to start putting teams together. Put the team together, you don't have no money, but guess what you have? You have the brains. You have the ambition. You know how much people have money and have ambition? They have ambition.
Melissa says, so to cut on costs, can we purchase the lot and sell them as on-service lot, or do we have to provide necessary infrastructure?
You have to put in infrastructure now. Light, water, sewage if it needs sewage. The only way you don't put in infrastructure is if you're cutting up along a road
That already have service.
that already have service. So you find a road with a long road frontage, which is what I did in Newport.
And if you're doing farming too, you put less infrastructure, don't it?
Yeah, if it's farm, you do, but you have to cut it up a certain, I think it's 1 acre is a minimum for farm lots. Right? So maybe the reason you haven't invested because you can't really afford the real estate, but don't let that stop you. Right? So a couple ways you can do it. I'm not seeing my slides.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring them up now. For some strange reason, it locked it, and then I can't access it.
So I forgot old school.
No, I'm gonna try and pull it up.
I'm coughing so much.
I don't understand why it locked it.
And we don't talk about cut costs, Melissa, we're talking about subdivisions, you hear? We don't cut costs, we do the right thing from the start. So you're gonna look at the land, do the due diligence on it, do the running. Is Tollgate a great area for subdivision? Tollgate have flooding, remember? We got a subdivision, we sell a subdivision out there in a Christ Star, what's that name?
Christchurch.
Christchurch. Is there a subdivision out there like that? I'm trying to remember. We saw lots out there. Right at Tollgate.
Christ something. Alright, can you see now?
Yes. Alright, so maybe the problem, maybe is that you're trying to afford it on your own, which is true. Most of you are trying to afford it on your own. But remember what it's gonna take, right? So let's take the cash, the land, credit, your knowledge, your time, and executing this. You may not have all of this in you alone. I had to learn it over time. So everybody will bring different things to the table, your partners. Some will be silent, like mine, they're silent. I'm giving the money, so go ahead, Claudia, go ahead. And your partners too will know people. So even though they're silent, they know people. So they might know people here, there, and everywhere. And if you buck your toe, you call them and you say, "Hey, so-and-so go on and who you know so-and-so?" Friend hear them say, "Yeah man, I'm a friend of someone." See the number you call. So don't believe that your partners, you use your partners too, and they also have expertise in certain things, right? Now, we talk about what is real estate team investing. So it is real estate team investing means 2 or more people come together to combine their resources to pursue a real estate objective. So people bring different things, cash, land, expertise, all of the above, right? Now, but the team are going to combine different strengths, right? But there is something I want you to remember through this whole thing that we're talking about now. Pooling resources is not the same as casually pooling money. So if 5 people simply transfer money to your bank account and say we're investing together, it don't necessarily mean it's not enough, right? You want to know who's going to own the asset. So you have 5 people, each of them send you $1 million. Who will own the asset? So for the first one that I did, all of us names were on the title, right? And it did state what percentage each person brought, because some persons brought more money than others, right? So who owned the asset? What percentage does everybody own? Are we going to form a company to hold this asset, and then each of us have equal shares, or shares according to how much money we put in, and so on? You want to know that. What happens if we need another 5 million? What's going to happen, right? who decides whether the property should be sold or not? Now, for the most part, people tend to defer to me when to sell because I'm in real estate. So I kind of know when where to sell a property maybe because I know I pick up that the value, this value move as much as it can, it's not going to go any further. Or sometimes myself, I'm the one who usually find properties. I found another property and I say, hey guys, listen, we need to pull out of this so we can pull into this, right? And we do that as well. So who decides? You must have a leader. That's what I'm trying to point out to you. All 5 of you can lead. One person will take the lead, right? Who is going to receive the rental income? The leader again. What happens if one member wants to leave the group, doesn't want to stay? I've also had that happen. He told me where one person decide, oh my God, Claudia, this is taking too long. We want back our money, da. So from initial, you have to decide how is the buyout going to happen, which we did, and how is that going to fare out, right? What happens if somebody dies as well while this is going on? What happens if the investment loses money? These are questions that you're going to ask yourself. Now, why do you invest as a team? This slide is behind mine. Why do you invest as a team? Well, the first advantage, you don't have $50 million. So the opportunity may come, it's 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, whatever. You don't have it, right? But maybe everybody here who is listening to me may have it if you have only just said it. Then they could pull in with you and do it, right? But capital, bringing the money is only one thing. You have to combine knowledge as well, because remember, you need capital and you need labor to make it work. The money by itself can't work. So you can put the 2 million in the bank or the 1.5 in the bank, leave it there, and make the bank labor build that interest and wealth for you. But you may think it's too slow, right? So you want to go to subdivision where you bring in more people now, or a team room where you bring in more people to do it. So you have to combine people to do this, right? Now you also, there's also some risk involved. Now, sharing the risk, you share the risk, but it does not remove the risk. It don't remove the risk. If the property loses money, the team still lose money. Remember, if construction costs increase, somebody still have to go deal with that. Tenants stop paying, then you still have mortgage, right?
Right.
So the benefit of a team is not that the investment becomes safe. The benefit is that choose the people properly, and you can combine your resources, your knowledge, and your responsibility. I'm sorry. I think I need an all story. So you have different structures that you can use. One structure was a REIT that we spoke about earlier, right? So if you want to use that structure, you're gonna go and look and Google it, so it's set up, check the laws in Jamaica, how REIT set up, and all of that, right? Then,
I feel like I don't have that slide.
which one? Partnership.
Oh yes, I have it.
So partnership, we're going to look at 3 ways. Partnership, private company limited by shares, and cooperative society. So let's look at partnership. So 2 people, partnership. You have some money, you want to come together. Let's buy this together. So the company's office of Jamaica recognizes a partnership as one form of business that can be registered under the registration of business names framework. Unlike an incorporated company, which is a limited company, that business is not a separate legal entity from its owners. Remember that. So, if I'm a partner, the decisions I make within the authority of the partnership can have consequences for you, right? So, trust is important, but trust is not a partnership agreement. So you must form a partnership agreement. I think up to 10 persons can form a partnership agreement if I'm not mistaken. So you need a written partnership agreement, and you put that together and see how the partnership is going to work. Now the advantages, partnership is relatively straightforward for a small group. You can agree how responsibilities will be divided, and it works well when the partners are actively involved in the business and understand the roles that each person brings, right? So if 5 of your architects, or one is an engineer, one is an architect, one is a surveyor, and so on, then yeah, you come together, you form a partnership, and you can say, okay, you do the architect work, you do the surveyor work, you do that, right? But disadvantages is personal exposure. If something goes wrong, this is not a limited company, it's a partnership. So the partnership, each individual in the partnership is still exposed to what may happen, what other people may do, and whatever liabilities, right? Also, if partnership gets sticky, cuss off each other, whatever, people start contributing, then you're no longer friends, right? So partnerships form, okay, it's 20 persons, not 10. So Jamaica's companies generally probably a partnership form for gain from having more than 20 persons, unless it is registered as a company or formed under another applicable statute. So 20 or less partnership. Let's move on to limited by shares. So if you're limited by shares, it's now a limited company, like how you know Ecostate Development Company, right? So those are companies, Real Estate Merchants Limited. Those are companies limited by shares. Now you need to understand they're a private company limited by shares. They also have public companies limited by shares. Under Jamaica's Companies Act, a company limited by shares is an incorporated company where the members' liability is limited in relation to the unpaid amount on their shares. The company has its own legal capacity separate from individual shareholders. So let us say, suppose me, Tony, and Rachel will form a company, Real Estate Merchants. We own shares in the company. But our company purchased property. Now, the shareholders own shares in the company, but it is the company, Real Estate Merchants, that owns the property. It is not me as an individual, Tony as an individual, and so on. It is the company itself that owns the property, right? Now, how it works. So everybody contributes equally and everybody owns 25% of the agreed share structure. Or perhaps the contributions are different and the share structure reflects a different arrangement. Now, you have articles, shareholder agreements, account and legal documents need to reflect what was agreed. Then you need the governance. So who are the directors of the company? The board of directors is who actually governs this Real Estate Merchants Limited company. Who can sign on the bank accounts? Again, usually they're directors, or you can add someone else, appoint someone else to sign on the bank account. Could be a staff member or a manager or somebody like that, right? Which is still a staff member. What decisions require a simple majority? Simple majority is 50% plus 1. Can one director purchase another property without everybody agreeing to sign? Those type of things. Do you need 2 directors to sign? 3. Those kind of things. When you're selling to, do you need 2 directors to sign to sell? 3 to sell, 4 to sell, all to sell. All of that must be in your articles. What happens if the company is around 10 million? Can new shares be issued? Can a shareholder sell to anybody? So on. All those things that you will have spoken about and then end up in the articles. So instead of 4 people, a person owning every asset, the company can acquire and hold many properties, right? That's one of the advantages. Secondly, there is normally limited liability associated. This doesn't mean a shareholder can never have personal obligations. For example, separate guarantees or personal wrongdoing can create different issues. So like, if the company decides to borrow money from the bank, directors will have to give personal guarantees to the bank to say, hey, we're borrowing 400 million, there are 5, 6, 10 directors. Directors give personal guarantee that if this thing go wrong, we will have to pay back the money. Which is why sometimes you don't want to go on no company as no director. Because you're exposed, guys. Right? People think you just sit on these boards and wing it. No, you don't. You actually have to do some work, some due diligence. Make sure nobody don't run off with the money. When you get a contract that the money for go do that, make sure it do. Right? Those are the kind of things. So one, the company owns the asset. 2, limited liability, but you still have personal liability if you decide to go borrow money. 3rd, the business can continue even when shareholders change. So shareholders sell them shares and them gone, even directors. No longer directors and so on. The company still continues. Continuation. Unlike the partnership, you won't have that continuation. 4th, ownership interests can be clearly represented through shares and the rights attached to them. And 5th, the company can be useful, where the intention is not simply to buy one property, but to establish an ongoing real estate business. So like for us, real estate merchants, we have a business that will continue. See, when I'm gone, Tony will be here, Rachel will be there, and it continues and does even the same thing. Alright? Disadvantage of this structure, certainly more paperwork. Administration kill you. Every minute you have to be filing company's office, you need letter of good standing, your GCT have up to date, one bag of filing. Just a lot. Accounting, you have to have your accounts. Every year you have to do financial accounts and so on.
Your accountant is your best friend.
So, and also, one other disadvantage, what kind of disadvantage? The property is not yours. So properties that we own under real estate merchants, Tony and Kat, come and say to our sister, say, listen man, this apartment is mine, it's not yours, you can't do that. Because it's owned actually by the company itself, right? Tony and I only have shares. I only have shares in the company, but I don't own the property itself, right? So there can be no dispute over that. So under Section 25 of the Companies Act, a private company's articles restrict share transfers, generally limit membership to 20 and prohibit invitations to the public to subscribe for its shares or debentures or to deposit money with it, right? So private company restrict share transfer, and it's limited and generally limited to 20 people, right? That means this is not a structure where you form a private company today and tomorrow you start advertising. You can't do that. Everybody sends us money and become a shareholder. No, you can't do that, right? But you can go ahead, buy your land, subdivide it. Then you tell the public you're selling land, and then buy land from you now. And you give them the title. Can't do that. So remember, it is a company that owns it. And yes, you can go and do a subdivision, and so it's a business, right? The third one is the cooperative. A lot of persons don't know about a cooperative. The cooperative society. There's a cooperative society in Jamaica. Persons don't know this, but I've had to deal with property. I'm dealing with one right now. So there are some pockets of development around the island that were structured under a cooperative, all right? The Department of Cooperatives and Friendly Societies describes a cooperative as a voluntary association through which people with a common objective pool their skills and resources in a democratically controlled organization. Housing is a specifically identified as one of the services a cooperative may provide, yes. A Jamaican cooperative requires a minimum of 10 persons. Minimum, so it can be 100, 200, whatever. And primary cooperatives operate on the democratic principle, one member, one vote. So even if you have a whole heap of shares, more than me, you only have one vote, same way. That makes the cooperative, does it make it different from a limited? Well, in a company, your economic and voting rights can be structured around your shares. So you can say, Tonian, you have 4 shares, you get 4 votes. Claudia, you have 1 share, you get 1 vote. But in the cooperative, no matter how much shares Tonian have or me, is 1 vote to get, right? So you don't get more vote. 1 member, 1 vote. So just imagine you have 50 people come together and they want to acquire land for housing. Individually acquiring big parcel, as Jovan has found out, and who else is, what's the other person's name, Tony? Melissa. Jovan and Melissa are struggling with this right now. They're finding it difficult, right? But collectively you could form a properly structured housing or land focused cooperative. Now, if you genuinely want to provide housing for 50 people, but I don't know if family members are not, 100 people are not, then you look at a cooperative structure. However, if you want to just profit from it, then you may want to look at the partnership, where you and 2 or 3 friend them up to 20, just do this for profit. Or you look at the limited liability for profit. You can also, in limited liability, as you know, buy land, subdivide it, and sell, right? Structured in it too, you can also say, hey, you come in, 10, each person, this is what you will get, right? You can do it that way. So, they contribute according to the approved structure, we set it up. The cooperative acquires the land, it then pursues, go through the whole planning process, surveying, subdivision, infrastructure, and other approvals. And depending on how the society is legally structured and what approvals you get, then the long-term objective might be include members eventually acquiring their own lands, while other lands remain collectively owned. So if you have 50 people, 50 may acquire their own lots in that whole subdivision that you did. And then the other 50 belongs to the cooperative, right? So you may set up apartment structure, whatever, you say, okay, 50 of those are for you, but this 50 is for the cooperative, who will now collect rent and do all of that, and earn money for the cooperative. Now, joining the cooperative does automatically mean that you own a particular piece of land. It has to be structured that way, right? If the cooperative owns a parent property, the cooperative owns the property until a lawful transfer takes place. Now, Jamaica has a history of housing and land purchase cooperatives, yeah? And current development material continues to identify housing as a legitimate cooperative purpose. What are the advantages? Collective buying power as one. A relatively large number of ordinary people can combine their resources. 2. 3, it's democratic. One wealthy person does not automatically control the society simply because they have more money. It is well suited to a genuine common purpose such as housing, land acquisition, or another member-focused economic advantage. It doesn't have to be land, it can be something else. You can form a cooperative. Suppose you want to start a school, you don't mean your own little school, but you're going to lease land and you can start a school and say, all right, all of our children will go to this school, right? So that's it, you can do other things with it. It encourages collective participation rather than simply creating passive shareholders. So disadvantage, democratic decision making can be slower. More members mean more opinions, yes. If 50 people are involved, governance has to be strong. Meaning the directors, board, everybody, governance have to be strong because 50 people come in with 50 different things. This happens with limited too. Everybody come with their own ideas and how this should work and so on. Which is why you have the structure. You have the board structure, you have the management structure, you have staff, you have shareholders, right? So board will make some decisions, management makes some decisions, staff will do what they need to do at that level, and so on. So usually things like shareholders don't decide on salary or who we hire in the company. That's usually a management decision, all right? The board determines direction, the vision, what needs to be done to get this company from A to B. The management, the grunt work of the operational of that company. So a shareholder can come and say to board members or even to management, hey, you need to employ this person. So no, it's not a shareholder decision. Neither does even a shareholder determine that, oh, must pay 50% of dividend. Shareholders don't decide that either. It is the board, because remember, the board and the management would have known that, oh, the company make 50 million. We need to reserve 10 million for emergency. We need to put 10 million back because the swimming pool soon want to replace. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then determine, say, we're going to pay out 30 million in dividends to shareholders. So they're the structure, right? So you're going to choose a structure based on your objective. Choose what works. What are you trying to accomplish? What works for you? Right? So few people, maybe you want a partnership. More, I don't know, maybe you want a company. You want everybody involved. This is going to be something where we need all hands on deck. Maybe you go cooperative. Depends. And cooperative too, if you want to hold the property as one. Some properties you may not be allowed to do a subdivision like what Javon and Melissa wants to do. So,
What do you mean?
So you want to do subdivision, but some properties you may can't subdivide.
Oh.
If you book up on a property where say, oh, this is industrial land and you have to keep as one holding, da da da.
Or if you buy like a hotel together.
Together, yeah.
Okay.
You buy like a hotel, you won't be able to subdivide. Unless down the line you probably say, let us just start at this. Something like that. But it is the cooperative or the limited company or the partnership that will hold the property. If it's something that you have to hold as one, I would say go with limited or you go with cooperative. You don't go with partnership with that, right? Because if somebody dies in the partnership or decides they want out, it will be very difficult to do that kind of separation because there's no shares to sell or anything like that. Advantages with team. It allows more people to combine their capital instead of waiting for someone to have everything, right? So you combine your expertise, spread out your responsibilities. I can make you do larger, bigger transactions. If you own land already, then you can also work with other people because you may own the land, but you don't have any capital to do anything. And you don't have, you just can't, he told him. And there are other persons who are land rich and cash poor. So you need people with money. Yeah, you need people with money. All right. You have any questions?
You're an end?
Am I? All right, hold on. The disadvantage is?
The disadvantages of cooperatives?
Team investing.
Hold on, you might be ahead of me then.
So the first disadvantage with team investing is loss of control. Right? When you invest alone, you alone make the decision. So true. When you invest with people, you may have to convince other people. Second thing is conflict. Yes, conflict will arise. Money changes relationships. For some reason, people, I don't know, get antsy, I don't know, I'm just, when them starts the money, the trust issue come in and what's the word I'm looking for? And then the thing is, some people make good friends, but they make horrible business partners. I'm saying horrible business partners.
Because their understanding and concept of making money is probably a little bit different from yours.
Right. No, everybody may contribute an equal amount of money, but not everybody end up doing the work. One or two persons may actually do 80 to 90% of the work that is required.
And that's in every team dynamic.
Right.
Even marriage.
Even marriage. But some people just don't get it or understand it. So if you're part of the team, that's one of the things you need to understand. Whether you are doing 80% or 90%, or you're on the sidelines, not required to be as active. You have to understand that this is just how it is.
And you have to know your role too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, honestly, even when you're doing like group work, you don't expect everyone to do everything,
Right.
right?
Or even be capable.
Or even be capable. So you have to know if you're capable or not.
Mm-hmm.
And who is capable, you need to allow them to lead whatever aspect of that is.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. You need to really allow them to lead. How do you get out? Does somebody want out? How do they get out? You must know. Do we have to sell? Or can somebody in the group buy them out? So I just had a one team that we did that. So one person actually bought out the rest of us. Which was not a bad idea. We didn't lose money for sure. Because we sold back at a higher value. And then that person will continue the project. But for the most part, others wanted out for whatever reason, but it happens. So you have to make sure you know that, right? If somebody dies or somebody gets mentally incapacitated, mental capacity is gone, what happens to the person's interest? Poor governance. Who controls bank accounts? Who approves expenses? Who has allowed to sign contracts? That sounds other thing. So the 7 questions before the money move. What exactly are we trying to acquire or create? What is each person contributing? Is it cash, land, expertise, something else? What I forgot to put there is how are they compensated? Because if everybody put in equal amount of money, but this person is the one who have the management, have the expertise, and really they should be compensated, right? So you have to figure that out early. What does each person own in return? Who makes decisions and what decisions require everybody's approval? There are some decisions that do not require everybody's approval. That's the truth, right? So you have to understand that too. When you are a part of a team, it's not every time we need to go brush the dog's teeth, we're going to come and say we're going to brush the dog's teeth, guys. Don't work that way, right? What happens when more money is required or the investment loses money? How does somebody exit? What happens after death or if there's a dispute, right? Those things we need to know. The attorney, the accountant, the valuer, commission and surveyors, all these people you need, your lender, you need, right? So basically that's it. Any questions? Build your own team. Build your own team. You have any questions from before?
I'm looking at them now. Someone was asking, is Tollgate a great area for subdivision? You answered that. Joan says, put the cost in the prices of the lots. And Kay was saying, I have access to 7 million low interest loan and would like to start a quick cash turnaround business in order to repay the monthly loan. Any ideas apart from real estate?
I can't think of anything I'll put 7 million in. If I have 7 million, I go into real estate. But you don't really have 7 million. What you have is access to 7 million low interest loan.
I mean, the only thing
You
that's
want to
coming to
start
mind
a quick
is
cash
car
turnaround.
rental or car.
Are the same loan business, but them risky. The same loan, give people loan and then some people do it successfully, some lose them short. So you have access to low interest money and you can now off lend it to
Somebody else.
somebody else. And then you have to decide how quick you want about the money. People like open financing, access financing and those, maybe you should look at how they're structuring. But that one is risky to me, personally, because I wouldn't want to be running down anybody for anything. 7 million, low interest loan, quick cash turnaround business, in order to repay the monthly money, loan money. No. We only talk about real estate, Tony. Buy vehicle, the amount of carry up on the market.
No, to rent.
So she buy a $7 million vehicle to rent, could be, yeah.
Well, you wouldn't buy $7 million vehicle lower.
Right, so she can buy a couple of vehicle, rent them and turn on money.
Right, because those services work, you know, the taxi thing, plus the short-term rental of vehicles works as well, especially if it's a newer vehicle, where you want too much upkeep on it.
You have access to 7 million, why you don't do it? Why haven't you done exactly?
Because I
You're telling
don't
this
want
person.
quick cash turnaround business.
Oh.
I like long-term things, and you know that.
Oh, so no, you need to tell her why you don't do
I
it.
like slow and steady.
So are you like slow and steady?
Yeah.
Why you like slow and steady? Because what?
Because I don't have that level of risk. Risk what?
Risk tolerance.
Risk tolerance, right? And I don't like changes that happen very quickly. I like to be able to see the change coming and allow myself time to adapt to it. When you're in these quick cash things, it changes very quickly. Like, for example, if you have your car in a rental service, right? And people are doing, I guess, Airbnb rentals, right? And then we have COVID. That's like, all of a sudden there's no vehicles being rented, just like instantly.
Instantly, you have no income.
No
The
income,
vehicle sits on you.
right?
So the thing to what I've done too is if you're really making the money back fast, is pay back the loan fast
Yeah,
before things change.
yeah.
For that very reason too, that's why I don't like quick cash business either. I've had so much opportunity to do quick cash business and I still default back to the real estate.
Somebody says she could start a water business or a cake taxi business. Yeah, those things are quick cash.
Quick cash. Buy a vaccine and carry kids to school is $335, $4,000 per child per week. Alright, good. And make sure you have the insurance to back it too.
And a good driver.
It's a line of credit loan. Can be in Jamaica. Jamaica line of credit at 18%.
It's probably overseas.
Overseas that, so you have it good. But who is going to drive this taxi? So we're talking about these things, but who is going to drive the taxi? People lose them shirt with that, you know. Driver don't bring in the money. All these things. So what's the control? The first thing you have to think about is how do I control this thing?
You just want to drive it yourself.
But if shall man a credit solution in Jamaica, right, Kim? So how are you going to control it? If you don't have control, person for me, you need control. In the beginning part of the business, you need control. You need systems in place that allows for control.
Like I know someone was telling me that they operate taxi service. Basically they have the vehicles and the driver pays them per month. So for example, if the driver is paying them $50,000 per month, right? 10,000 out of that payment goes towards the purchasing of the vehicle, for example. So at the end of a certain period, the driver gets the car and then he just gets a new car to start the process again. Right, so that by the time the vehicle reaches a certain age, he doesn't have it.
Revolving, you do it on a revolving basis. That's not bad. So the driver have an interest in paying his working and paying this money because it's like him paying a loan.
Yeah.
It's his own vehicle him paying for.
Yeah.
Okay, that could be a control, yes.
And the driver has the upkeep costs, so like gas maintenance and those things, and he covers licensing, insurance, those aspects.
Sign a contract with Wisynco with your boss to carry their workers, or sign contract with Grace last fall. Think that easy to get them contract then?
I don't know.
You think you can walk into Grace and last go and get those contracts? What I do know is that they have a lot of turnover, especially with carrying of goods.
So maybe you can get it real quick.
No, but you have out tight real quick too. Because them pay you so cheap. You see, one of the things, who is making the money?
Can
Who
buy
is
an
making the money?
excavator and rent it out to contractors.
And who is making the
Is
money?
it $7 million for an excavator?
No, but who is going to drive it and who is going to take care of it? The amount of challenges I hear with that. People call me that they want to sell about them excavator because the driver this or the driver that. Those are not jobs. Those are not things that you can be hands off on. You have to be active on the ground.
You probably know how to repair an excavator.
I know how to change a tire. I remember when I bought that truck. Learned that the hard way. I had to eventually give up the truck to one of my mentees. I said, pay me monthly. He was so happy for that. He told me.
I met a man who
Very good, very good young man.
And so I asked him what he did. He says he rents equipment to construction sites. And this was early, because I'm always on the road early. He was getting ready to go to another site because the truck or whatever it wasn't a truck, it was something else, lost its wheel. And he had to figure out how to get someone who knows how to change a truck wheel, because it requires some form of equipment to lift it to get the wheel off. And it was just like, it's a headache. He said if he hadn't inherited the business from his family, he would not be in this work. He said you leave house at so odd times and every day is just a problem. It's like there's no month where they just work and just bring in money.
That's it. That's why I'm like slow, because with real estate I can't sleep in my bed, man. So the thing is, alright, so Kay says, I'm coming back to Jamaica year and to live. I'm your age. I'm looking for income. Where is the income that you're coming with from foreign? You have a property already in Jamaica, you could consider renting too.
Or using the $7 million to add on to it to make it rentable, extra rent.
If you have a property already, you're my age, that means you're retiring. You're retiring. So if you're retiring, you say all of them things that I'm suggesting up there, so you don't want none of that.
Melissa says, Ms. Davis, can you please reply to my above question about decoy toll gate near the Heart Trust, is it a flood prone area or can it be good to invest in with a subdivision? We have to go there when it rains to best determine that, don't it?
Yeah, I know a part of toll gate flood, but I don't know what a toll gate. I don't know where I was selling that development. Christ, I'm like Krista name or something.
Some Christchurch name and
A Christchurch name? But you're saying,
decoy.
alright, so I know Clarendon is very cheap. You're gonna spend 5-6 million per lot for putting a subdivision and you can't even sell a lot then for 5 million. How much are the lands in Clarendon now? Tony, give me an idea.
6 million. I was on it yesterday, that was where the cheapest lot was selling for.
Right, so 6 million. So you spend 6 million putting infrastructure, you sell that for 6 million. Now, go where you can sell lots and make some money. I don't know about Clarendon. Clarendon would be my first option. I would more be looking at St. Catherine. I want to say St. Catherine to me talk about. I'm talking about same Spanish town that I don't like. Portmore. Kind of backward card Lindsay and you are talking to, but the lot them offer cheaper.
But people will live in Boardwalk and Yuatan because they can toll to Kingston. Clarendon you can toll as well, but like it's just not as the reception to Clarendon is not there.
No. That take you long to sell them.
I mean, Clarendon is the parish you drive through to get to Manchester.
North Coast people want land, Portland too, St. Thomas now too. So, not
But
because
you
the
know-
land cheap means it's a good subdivision investment. It will make a good subdivision investment. The only way is if you're not putting in infrastructure. So if there's a long frontage, remember I said that. But if you ever go put in light, water, this, that, drainage system, sewage, roads, might be a little problem there, so. Melissa, so, toll gates. When is the last, which subdivision was the last subdivision in that area?
Toby's church, Toby's place. You talking Tollgate? No, Toby's not in Tollgate.
I'm talking about Clarendon. Claudia, you can't get trustworthy people to drive your vehicle. They work to profit themselves only while you have the maintenance of finance. Been there, done that, exactly. I'm building, so I need the income to build and repay the loan. You need the building. So aren't you building the building to repay the loan? The building don't have rental income. I don't know that area, no, Melissa. New Pira. Where's that?
St. Thomas is not that familiar to us. Again, drive-through parish for us to get to Portland.
Yeah, drive. And I drove through the other day and I wasn't impressed. I had to go back yesterday and I still went back a long way and go around and come back. I just said no. So I drove it about maybe 3 weeks at a time. We drove through Hamilton and go through St. Thomas and go around.
I think it was more than 3 weeks.
More than 3 weeks?
Yeah, because it was before you were ill. So
Yeah.
and you were ill for 3 weeks.
Yeah. I found it have dead zones. Don't like that. Literal dead zones where there is nobody, nothing, no street lights.
New Pira, Eastern, St. Thomas, where they just did the road.
Well, I drove through St. Thomas the other day, but I drove on the main, I didn't turn off. I don't even know, did I pass a new pier? Is there water? Is there NWC water?
And electricity access.
We have electricity now. I don't think electricity is a problem. NWC water, is that there?
Melissa said that the government did the Spark program road renovation.
Okay.
No
Okay.
building from scratch.
Building from scratch. If you're building from scratch, you must have rental. You can't build and you're gonna pay the mortgage.
And you're retiring. So,
And you're retiring.
so the first thing you should probably build is the rental unit
Mm.
while you're still overseas.
New Pier, St. Thomas. Barking Lodge. Where you turn off? Where you turn off to go New Pier? No turn off? What you need to do is look at the population, how much people live in the area and so on. How you gonna know if people want to buy in the area? How close is it to places like the Yalas? Where else we know there? We know Yalas, Poor Man's Corner.
Melissa says, yes, you have New Pura and Old Pura.
Oh, still don't know where it is.
Kay says later the building will have an income earner.
Right, so you're taking the income, you must build the income earner first. If you're worried about paying the mortgage, yep. If you're worried about
Yeah.
paying the mortgage, the income you must build first.
Right, build the self-contained flat first,
Mhm.
and then do the rest of the house after.
And then do the rest after. And if you have more than one self-contained flats, you do all of those first. Move into one, live in it, rent it out, then do the same, rinse and repeat and go through. If you're worried about paying the mortgage. So you're using the 7 million low income to do that, or you wanted another. Kay was the one who wanted an investment with the 7 million, boy, Kay, that tricky.
It's not that it's tricky, it's that whatever it is, you have to do it yourself.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself. That's the challenge, you know. You can't rely on with a 7 million investment though. Why 20 million loan, but still put it in a real estate.
I would too, because
You never
I
find
like slow.
like slow. You never find 7 million. Hesitate. That's why I'm like going on the car rental and buy equipment and this and that, you know. But still hesitate with it.
Yeah, with the real estate, you can breathe a little. With these, you have to be very active in it.
Yeah, and then with 7 million, we can probably buy a piece of land.
I mean, you could probably rent a building and set up a wholesale too, but again, you have to be in it.
In it.
Every day.
You have to be in it. You have to be in it to win it. That's the thing with them kind of business there. Because even the water business, I looked at it too. I looked at the same courier service business. All of them have all the information. But when I think of, Lord, Tony, I have to go get up and I have to go there at this place 8 o'clock every morning. And I can't leave till 5 o'clock.
Vanessa says, what is your thoughts about Carnival St. Anne, where residents will have beach access? Could we use our NHG to purchase land and build and rent out the property for Airbnb? As in Carnival, or there's a new Carnival?
Carnival St. Anne.
Because isn't that what people do now?
You can't build any property or rent out for Airbnb. Just depends on where you are. Matter of fact, I see some Airbnb up in a bush.
And some hilltops.
So we used to think that we need for good at the front, we no longer need to be at the front.
Just the type of guest you
Just the type of guess, yeah. You can use your NHG to purchase any land and build, as long as it's a residential land, yes. You can use your NHG to buy and build. You're supposed to be building your residence when you take NHG money to build, but there's nothing to stop you from renting a piece of it. You understand? There's nothing to stop you, because we are allowed to do that in Jamaica.
All right, we've actually come to the end of the show.
Use your NHG if you haven't done that yet. If you don't own a property yet, you shouldn't be talking about subdivision, though, Melissa.
So use your NHT, buy your land, start the build, and move step from there.
Because by purchasing your own piece of property the regular way, you're gonna learn the second half of subdivision, which is having title, what the purchasers are going to go through the bank process, what those costs will entail in terms of closing costs, etc., which is the second half you're gonna need when you're gonna sell back.
Russell, so where's the cheapest land in St. Anne?
Where was I seeing cheap land? Well, I can't say cheap, it was 10 million.
In St. Anne or St. Mary?
Oh, St. Anne, I think it was someone like, it was in the middle of St. Anne and up at the top of St. Anne and Manchester. So that top, so the middle of Jamaica, basically.
Brownstone?
No, Brownstone is not the middle.
Yeah, where? You
Further
said
up, past Alexander.
Past
go-
Alexander.
Go some more.
Anywhere on the coast, you're not talking about cheap land. Cheap land is up in the bush. Yes, Melissa, use your NHT and build and go. You can go on our map system to get check your pre-approval. mapphq.com, you can go on the system, just check your start an application to get pre-approved for a loan and see how much you would qualify for. And see how much cash you have in your hand. Buy your first property. I always say that to people, just buy your first property, man. Use up your NHT.
And you'd be surprised that after you buy your first property and then maybe you put a rental unit on it, you're ahead of the game all of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
Instead of looking to subdivide, buy land and subdivide.
You're going to be ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Now subdivision are for serious investors, everybody. Not for newbies. For you, if anybody just coming in the game now, just buy a piece of property and for yourself. Live on rent. Learn how to buy the property. Same NHT process there. Learn how to do that.
And then the next step is to look for a small piece of property
Small.
that can subdivide into 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Not 3 acres.
Not 3 acres where you need
because
road
it's a
and
whole
light.
lot of knowledge you're gonna need to put in road,
Yeah.
light and sewage.
As I said, step 1, step 2, step 3, they can't reach up at the 10th step and you know step on the ladder yet for step 1 and step 2 and step 3.
Yeah.
You have a step on it. Alright, Mommy Bear, Draxall, 200,000 US for lands in Draxall. We have houses at 385, 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, selling now. If I'm purchasing land in Carnival, will I still need all infrastructure? You're purchasing a land to for your own house, then that land already comes with water and light. You probably just put in your sewage. Somebody say you can call us off here. My number 292-6776. Tony's number is 370-8138. Don't call us right now because we're running off to have dinner. I think Tony went into a class. So you actually have to call us tomorrow. I'm going to plot myself in front of my TV. Seriously, I'm tired. Alright guys. Alright, you can send me a WhatsApp too, Melissa. Bring me a WhatsApp. Bring me back to 2005, 2012. Bring it back. What do you mean bring it back?
That's when the prices are reasonable, apparently.
Yeah, 200,000.
Alright. Alright, bye everyone.
Bye,
We'll see you
everyone.
next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Yeah, man. Building wealth live. Real estate for the people. Bill 9. Land banking. Jamaica rise up. Build together. Own together. One little acre change life forever. Enough man tired to struggle alone. Bill 9. Make 9 family own home. Build together. Rise together. Future brighter when we plan together. From renting life to property zone. One piece of land can be legacy strong. Land price high and the rent can't ease. Construction costs bring people them ease. Deposit hard to save nowadays. Whole heap of youth feel stuck in a maze. Salary pressure every month again. Still want one house and lot and lane. But what if family join the campaign? Pull up the money and break the chain. Sister and brother, cousin and friend. One smart move change the whole bloodline trend. From Kingston straight up to Mobile. Bill 9 open up a better way. Bill build together, own together. One little acre change life forever. Enough man tired to struggle alone, build 9, make 9 family.